An INFJ is often seen as gentle, calm, and deeply empathetic souls. But here's the thing. Crossing an INFJ is a mistake many people regret. They don't need anger, loud arguments, or revenge to protect themselves. Instead, they use subtle, intelligent, and even confusing strategies that leave others second-guessing everything. Let's explore 10 genius ways INFJs confuse anyone who tries to cross them. 1. Silent withdrawal that speaks louder than words. When an INFJ feels disrespected or betrayed, they don't always argue or defend themselves. Instead, they simply withdraw. This silence is not weakness, it's power. By removing their presence, they force the other person to sit with their own behavior. And the mystery of why the INFJ pulled away leaves people confused, restless, and often more unsettled than if there had been a dramatic fight. 2. Seeing through hidden motives instantly. INFJs have a rare ability to detect dishonesty and manipulation. They don't just listen to words. They read tone, body language, and inconsistencies. When someone tries to deceive them, the INFJ often knows immediately. But instead of calling it out, they quietly observe. This makes the other person increasingly paranoid because they can't figure out why their tricks aren't working. 3. Responding with calm instead of chaos. Most people expect conflict to escalate, but INFJs often do the opposite. They remain calm, collected, and almost unshakably composed. This throws manipulators or aggressors off balance because they can't control someone who refuses to feed the drama. The calmness itself becomes a weapon. It exposes the other person's immaturity and leaves them rattled. 4. Using subtle words that cut deep. INFJs don't need to shout or insult. Their intelligence and mastery of language allow them to drop simple, surgical statements that hit harder than anger ever could. They expose hypocrisy, highlight contradictions, or reveal uncomfortable truths in just a few words. These subtle verbal strikes leave people confused and often reflecting long after the conversation is over. 5. Mirroring people's behavior back at them. An INFJ's empathy lets them understand others deeply. But when crossed, they sometimes flip that understanding into a mirror. By reflecting the same coldness, avoidance, or dismissiveness back, they let the person experience exactly what they gave. It's confusing because it feels like looking into a reflection of their own flaws, and it forces them to confront behaviors they'd rather ignore. 6. Playing the long game with patience. INFJs don't rush revenge or resolution. Instead, they wait, watching carefully as situations unfold. Their patience makes others anxious because they expect immediate reactions. But the INFJ knows that time itself reveals truths, and that people who try to cross them usually expose themselves eventually. This long game leaves others paranoid, constantly wondering if the INFJ is planning something. 7. Withholding their true thoughts. INFJs rarely reveal the full extent of what they know or feel. When crossed, they might listen intently, give vague answers, and never fully show their hand. This creates an air of mystery and unpredictability. People can't tell if the INFJ forgave them, is quietly plotting, or has already moved on. That uncertainty alone is enough to keep them uneasy, showing unexpected kindness instead of anger, perhaps the most disarming. INFJ's tactic is responding to negativity with kindness. When someone expects a fight, but instead receives compassion or understanding, it leaves them completely unprepared. It creates guilt, confusion, and even self-reflection, because how do you fight someone who refuses to fight back? 9. Disappearing without warning. When someone goes too far, INFJs may vanish entirely, no explanations, no closure, just silence. They cut toxic ties cleanly and disappear from a person's life as if they never existed. This sudden disappearance is baffling for most people because humans crave closure. And when they don't get it, they spiral into confusion, left forever wondering what really happened. 10. Living better without looking back. The most genius way INFJs confuse their enemies is simple. They thrive. Instead of wasting energy on payback, they pour it into personal growth, new opportunities, and a life of peace. And nothing confuses or frustrates someone more than realizing their attempt to break you only made you stronger. So, while INFJs may not fight in obvious ways, their intelligence, calm, strength, and subtle strategies make them some of the hardest people to cross. They don't just walk away from conflict, they leave people second-guessing everything, often haunted by the experience. Which of these INFJ strategies do you think is the most powerful? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe for more insights into the rare and mysterious INFJ personality.